Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Sam. Sam is from England in the UK. So let's see what Sam has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Ta-da! There we go.
Hello Sam, how are you?
How you doing, William? Yeah, really good, really good. Yourself?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, it's a really pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Like I'm really sort of like I don't know, inspired by your sort of like reaching out abilities, and also just the concept is really cool as well. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. So tell me, how was your day today?
Today was like a lot of days recently has been absolutely insane, but in a very good way, in a very, very good way. Yeah, a lot of information downloads and yeah, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, how was your day?
It was good. I think
Good.
it's busy as well, very busy. I think, when things are happening, it's a good sign. When you get
Yeah,
tired, when you cannot manage for some reason, the day goes, faster. You wish you could have like 3, 4 more hours of your day to go ahead to do some more work. So I see that
yeah.
as a positive thing.
Good, good, good. Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
It can be tired sometimes. It can be tiring, but
Uh,
it's great. It's good to be
yeah,
busy.
it's worth it. Exactly. That's it. Yeah, exactly how my life's gone recently. It's gone from just like dribbling along to just oh my god, everything is just happening all at once. But it's a really good thing. Really good thing. Yeah.
I like your background. I like this sign behind you with
Yeah,
this.
the yin
Yes.
and yang. That's it. I've got my fish tank here as well. It's like
Yeah.
I live in a caravan. You know, it's a really old caravan, but yeah, I absolutely love living here, and I have all my plants around and things, and it's such a beautiful space. Is the lighting okay and everything? Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. So how long have you been living in a van for?
In this caravan, I say I was sort of almost not homeless for. Oh wow, there's fireworks outside. That's class. Um, yeah, I was sort of homeless for 3 months, and then I found myself just being pulled by the universe in different directions, really. And then I've been living here for about 4.5 months now. Yeah, 4.5 months.
Wow. And where are you based, Sam?
I'm based in Cumbria. Yeah, just up on the Scottish borders, nearly. Yeah.
I see. And where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Yorkshire. Yeah, yeah, Yorkshire originally. Settled just outside of the Yorkshire Dales, but I've lived up in Scotland for about 20 years, 20 odd years, really. And then sort of just down over the border and things for that amount of time, really. But yeah, it's cool.
And why the change for Yorkshire to Scotland?
Well, I was 14 when my parents decided to move up to Scotland.
Okay,
It was all due to my parents, basically, but it all feels divinely guided at the end of the day. So yeah, it's good. It's good,
I
really good.
see. And your parents, they're living in Scotland right now, or they're back to England?
Yeah, no, yeah, they live just literally just over the border by, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So I've always sort of migrated around the border, went to college in Carlisle, but lived in Scotland. And then, yeah, sort of
I see.
backwards and forwards a lot, a lot of holidays.
And what do you do for work, Sam?
Now I do lots of things. I do coaching calls with people.
Mhm.
I hold space for people as well. I produce my tinctures as well, sort of like herbal remedies and things, bringing nature into everybody again, which is really good. And now it's branching out into a lot of different things, a lot of different things, but we will see, But I like having my fingers in a lot of different pies because I get bored quite easily. So having that diversity is very good. Yeah.
I see, but you always had this spiritual journey. You always being a spiritual person. When I was checking your profile, I could see your videos. I could see the way you express yourself through spirituality, through plants and everything. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about it. You always been this way, or it was a moment in your life when everything changes?
No, not at all. Like there was a moment in my life where, you go through immense sort of suffering and separation, and things and isolation. And that really occurred over the last sort of 3 years, really. It was sort of 2020, the back end of 20, or the start of 2020, actually. I started to get IBS. This is a very quick brief run through of what happened. But I got IBS, and then it sort of like sent my body into this anxiety, and then from that anxiety, that sort of led on to me going on to antidepressants. not really feeling in touch with who I was as that character anymore, if you want to call it that. And then from then, I had a spiritual awakening at the back end of 2020, and then I went through a very good period, and then I went into a very, very dark period for about a year really, and then it's just been sort of like through that suffering, through that sort of thinking that all this is happening to me, then I managed to turn it around to realize that, oh no, what's happened to me here is a gift. So I'm able to sort of like exemplify or, you know, show people that whatever's happening in their life that's suffering or whatever it is, if you turn your perspective round on it, you know, there is no good or bad, you know, like the yin and the yang. There is no good or bad. But if we stay in that place of victimhood with it, we can't realize the gifts and the lessons and the teachings that life is trying to teach us. So then from then, I've been able to sort of like, the fireworks are amazing. From then, it's been sort of like a real sort of journey of self-discovery and realizing my own potential. And then from that, I've been able to sort of give that information to people or exemplify it so people can also feel comfortable in expanding their consciousness or, you know, bringing light to the darkness, basically, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. I strongly believe as well, when you share your moments in life, not just the happiest moment, but the, you know, the dark side as well, you are helping people somehow. It's part of healing, you know, for ourselves, but at the same time as well, you are helping people out there, because you never know who is maybe facing the same situation or already faced in the past. And see someone talking openly about it, I think it's a big help. That's what I see.
Totally. You find comfort in it, don't you? You know, and it's just like, especially if somebody's sort of looking at you and going like, wow, you seem to have it all sorted and things. And it's like, yeah, you're seeing what is happening now, but you didn't see the whole process of that journey to be able to be where I am now with the clarity and things about stuff. And it literally is turning victim mindset into an empowered mindset, you know. But yeah, especially like showing your vulnerability as well to people, that makes them feel comfortable then to be able to go, oh, I can do that as well. And then they realize that those vulnerabilities are their strengths, you know. But it's just about shifting perspective, you know. Everything's perspective, you know. That's it.
Amazing. Okay, Sam, so during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life overall, okay?
Cool, cool.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yes, yeah, definitely, William. Thank you.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best friend. Full of wonderful questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Cool, cool, cool.
Let's do it. Yeah, you always can join me dancing.
That's it. I'm going to anyway. That's it. Yeah.
So before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Cool, cool.
First question for you is, what makes you very sentimental?
What makes me very sentimental? Wow, that's a really good question. My family, I guess, you know. Yeah, my nan, especially, you know. It's like I have these certain trinkets and things that have cropped up in my life, and I'm going to get this down as a prop, so it were, you know, like certain things like this honesty plant, you know, that makes me very sentimental, you know, because it's like a connection to my lineage, you know, my ancestry and stuff, and it's something that's came up synchronistically. But yeah, definitely my family, you know, and that those old sort of like memories from being a child and purity and sort of like unconditional love, really. That's what's come up recently. Yeah.
Who in your family you are more close to?
My older sister, yeah, she's a year and a half older than me, and she's helped me through my dark period, my transitional period into myself, my true self, you know. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest, William. You know, so I'm very, very grateful to her for that. You know, she really did help me. Makes me feel a bit emotional. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Nicola. Yeah.
Nicola, someone is very, very proud of you. Look his eyes shining.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Saying that, what's the biggest difference between you and her, and the biggest similarity?
The biggest I don't know. We're very similar. We're very, very similar. Oh, we look very similar. Yeah, everybody always says, you know, we look very similar, but the way our minds work as well is very, very similar. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think we're a lot more open to things. Do you know what I mean? Than maybe the rest of the family, or maybe not. You know, it's like maybe that will come in time. But like Nicola and I have that why aspect to us. You know, it's like, why should we do these things? You know, what, and sort of that inquisitive nature. That's very similar with us. The biggest difference, I don't know. Gender, probably sex. she's female, I'm male, but really it's all one thing, you know, masculine and feminine. That's it.
I was about to say that. I was about to mention that there is always a difference. And growing up, you always been close growing up as well?
Yes, yeah. There was a big sort of like separation phase where she was living further away up the country and things. But now we come really back together again, and it's very good. You know, it's almost like I knew that she would always be there. You know, she's come up in certain frames of consciousness or yeah, states of consciousness and things, and I know that she's like that rock. You know, she's really been that rock for me, and it's yeah, very good.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Next question for you is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they get married?
Oh. Wow. Yeah, who they are beyond the character they're portraying. But then again, like you sometimes find that through being together or being linked in that way, isn't it? You know, yeah, that's a really good question. Fantastic question. People really what they love to do, you know, what they love to do, not just the, you know, the love for one another, but what do they really love to do, and how they can bring that sort of energy out of one another, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you believe that people, they cross each other paths in the right time, and sometimes they cross in the wrong time, and that's why it doesn't work? What's your opinion on that?
No, I don't believe. I think that all relationships, whether it be a sort of like a marriage or a partnership or even just friends relationship, sort of like, I believe that every relationship is there to teach us something about ourselves, you know, from both parties as well, you know. And it's just like there's a lot of lessons to be learned in relationships because you get that immediate reflection of one another, isn't it? And I think that, yeah, no matter, you know, I don't believe that it's a good or a bad thing. I just believe that it's like we will stay in those cycles of friendship or relationship until we learn to either. I mean, I guess it's all about self-love, really. Is that's the idea behind relationships? Is it's there to teach us about setting boundaries for ourselves and respecting ourselves and loving ourselves, and vice versa for the other partner as well. You know? Yeah.
I think relationship is always, it's like a maintenance. Every single day there's a new challenge, a new maintenance, and I think you need to go, you know, like day by day you need to go through it, and that's how things work.
Yeah, totally. That's it. You know, you never stop learning, do you? That's it. You know, only a fool thinks he knows everything, and it's just like as soon as you think you know everything, then that's kind of like you closing yourself off to the universal knowledge of just like, oh, you think you've got it, do you? And then the universe goes like, no, you don't. You know, it's just like stay open is what I would say. Yeah.
Good. Next question. Okay, Sam from England. Next question. Before the next question, tell me what do you like the most about being a coach? Yeah, and what's the biggest challenge of it, in your opinion?
The thing I love the most about being a coach is seeing people realize their potential through these perspective shifts that I seem to be able to sort of, you know, create in some people, and certain people you can't either, and that sort of leads me on to the challenging aspect, or the sort of, you know, it's the fear of what if I can't change somebody, you know, or what if they are not open to changing themselves, you know. And it's more to do with that sort of victim mentality. Like certain people who I speak to, occasionally, you know, you will get the person who sort of just, you can tell already from their energy that they're not ready or open to change, really. They want it all to be conveniently done for them. And that's something that you can't do for people, you know. So that's the biggest challenge. But yeah, definitely the highlight of it is just seeing people lift, and the energy that is at the start of the call, almost 100% of the time. By the end of the call, these people are left feeling uplifted and sort of like a bit more in love with themselves, and a bit less fearful about uncertainty or the path ahead or whatever it is. And I think that's a very good quality to bring out in people.
Do you think that, after the COVID, when all of us, we were literally closed, like trapped, we couldn't go out, we couldn't, do things that we love to do at the time. So I believe that all of us, we found a new way to survive, a new way to get to know ourselves better. In your opinion, do you think people, since that period, the COVID, do you think people, they became more spiritual? They kind of got to know themselves in a different way, or it went in the wrong direction? How do you see that?
I think a certain amount of people went their own direction, but I know from sort of like readings and things that I've done is that COVID was there because the awakening of humanity wasn't going quick enough really on Earth, and so we needed to have a bit of a lockdown. A lockdown is sort of almost prison terminology, but in everything there is no good or bad. It's like we can either use that to go further into that mindset of victimhood, or we can pull ourselves out of it. And a lot of people start to really go within and look at what it is that makes them happy or not happy, and I think it's a very clever thing, because it's just like, right, if you're not happy in your relationship or whatever, we're going to close you down together so that you can really ebb it out together, and you're not going to have anybody else. And it's just like, are you happy in this? And it's like, that's the big question for people. Are you happy? Not only in just relationships, in your work. Oh, I've had all this time. Hey, this is how it can be. Can I do this normally? I don't really want to go back to work. And a lot of people thought that, So in my ethos and my idea is just like, everything is happening for you. It really is all happening for you. We just have to perceive it the right way. But I think, massive changes and massive gains were made by people in generally making decisions based on what they really wanted, rather than what they were just being forced to do. So very interesting times at the moment.
For sure. Next question is, what did you want to be growing up?
A sommelier.
Oh, really?
I wanted to taste wines. Don't know where that came from, but it's almost like I'm kind of doing that with my tinctures now, so it's just like I get to sample, but I'm making my own tinctures, and then seeing the benefit within myself, as well. And all the lovely comments from other people, they go like, yeah, this has really changed, it helped me sleep, all this sort of thing. But
Okay.
I wanted to be a wine taster. There you go.
And when you think about your childhood memories, you mentioned about you're very close to your family. You mentioned about your grandmother as well. Tell me, what's the best memory that comes to your mind when you go through those, moments when you're a child? What comes up straight away in your mind?
Oh, being in my nan's house and being in the garden and going and tasting the raspberries and
Oh, wow.
tasting the raspberries in my nan's house, because every time I taste a raspberry now, it's like I'm immediately put back there, and it's just such a nice thing, and I know that my nan is one of my guides now. It's been given to me in sort of synchronistic things recently. But just being in my nan's garden and being free and happy, and not so mentally sort of like controlled by my mind, and just being free and no worry or anything, no fear of judgment, no judgment to anybody else, and just being in that place of love. Yeah, definitely.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from your grandmother?
From my nan, unconditional love.
Yeah.
Unconditional love. Yeah. That's one of the places that I really felt that love, and it's nice because from that I knew that it was possible, and it was just nice not to be, demonized or, sort of like judged or, sort of like scared into doing whatever I had to do. It was just that I will hold you whatever, and it was just like that definitely.
Amazing. Good. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Next question. Okay, Sam, next question is, what is the biggest prize you ever won?
What's the biggest prize I ever won? There
Yeah.
was one. It was a November fair at my primary school, and I remember there was the jar of sweets that you had to guess the amount of sweets that were in the jar, and then there was a tombola or a raffle or whatever, and like I won two of the things on the raffle, and I won the full jar of sweets as well because I guessed the right amount, you know, and it was just like my intuition, like even from that age, was very good. I could look at stuff and go like, yeah, there's 245 or something in there, and it would just like when your doubt isn't there, you know, when your fear isn't there of getting stuff wrong and things, like your intuition is pure. And I now look back on that and I'm like, wow, that was really cool, you know. It's like obviously the raffle that just happened by chance. Does anything happen by chance? But yeah, that probably. I can't think of another time when I've won anything sort of, you know.
Did you like school?
Yeah, I did like school actually. Yeah, yeah. I say I grew up in, you know, time before sort of like uniforms and all that sort of thing, or at least when I was in primary school and that. But yeah, I loved primary school. I have such fond memories of that, you know.
Who
Yeah, I
was your
did.
favorite
I did like.
teacher?
Who was my favorite teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a teacher that came in and just did like a few weeks work with us, and he was called Mr. Rice, and he was just so brilliant. It's either that or Mr. McPherson. Mr. McPherson was really good because of the way he described things and the way he engaged you. It was really, yeah, really sort of like, yeah, just dramatic, and you're encapsulated by what he was saying, you know. So he was perfect. Yeah, he was very good as well.
Good. Next question. Let's do it. Sam, before the next question, tell me, you know, you've been living in your van for a while, for a few years now, you said. No, few months, you said.
Yeah, 4 months.
4 months. So far, tell me what's the biggest joy that to live in a van, and what is the challenge that you found so far?
Um, the biggest joy of living in the van is just the freedom and the fact that like I'm so close to nature, and like I'm sleeping under trees. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I have the field out there. I mean, there's fireworks going on right down in the valley in town and things now, and I can see all this, and the cows in the field and the beautiful oak trees that I get to view every morning and things. Just having the space outside to work out and things. It's just, yeah, the freedom of that is lovely, you know. And I just feel I don't have to lock my door. It's just I don't fear about any of that stuff anymore, you know. That's really good. The biggest challenge about living here, I don't really know if there is one, to be honest.
I think you like that much that you don't see any challenge on it.
No, no, that's it. Like a few of the things don't work in it, you know, like I need a leisure battery. The water doesn't work, but I don't mind because I've got access to the house as well, and I can just go in there whenever I want as well, you know. And it's just like having that freedom is brilliant, you know. Like the fridge packed in today, funnily enough, but it's not really a challenge, you know. It's like I could use the fridge in the house or whatever, so there's no real big challenges, so to speak.
And are you planning to carry on living a van for a long while?
I would like to live. Yeah, I think I'll buy another caravan after this one. I don't know where I'll go after this, but I'm quite a nomadic sort of. You know, I sort of go wherever the universe wants me, sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm planning on maybe a static somewhere would be really good. You know, just a little bit more room. I could have a mycology room as well to grow my mushrooms and things like that for my tinctures and whatever else. That would be perfect. I would love that. You know, yeah.
It's funny. I've been doing the show for the last 2 years and a half, almost 3 years now, and I had, I think, two or three, you know, people literally live in a van as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I could see the joy in their face, you know, because they've
Yeah.
been. There was, I think, the first one was a lovely man in America, and he was literally traveling different states, going around, and you know, and I had a lovely man as well that I remember now, he from England as well, and he's
Mhm.
being kind of, you know, I think during the COVID, I think a lot of people they kind of start this journey because there are so many people that decide to literally, you know, start a life this way, like
Yeah.
as you said,
Yeah.
freedom. You feel free. You feel like, you know, you are part of the nature somehow.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It is being one with nature. I can just go outside, and outside is right there, and it's just perfect for me. You know, I literally, it's funny because I have a yew tree outside my door, literally not a big one, a small one, you know, underneath the willow tree and stuff. But I love trees, you know, and being underneath a tree, it's almost like I'm in the auric energy of that tree as well. Every time I go outside and just like, or anytime I'm coming in, I'm just like, hello, you know, to the yew tree itself. And I'm, oh, you know, it's like you make a connection with them and things, and they become a part of your space and a part of you, who you are as well. Yeah, but just the connection with nature is fantastic, you know. Although I haven't done a winter in it yet, so we will see.
Do you get lonely or not? Not really.
No, no. I love, you know, it's like I have a daughter as well, you know, she's 2.5 and she comes in here and she absolutely loves it, you know, and it's just like being connected outside as well. Me, her, and the dog are all on the bed together and stuff. We just all sleep there, and it's absolutely fantastic, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world, really. You know, it's a really old one. I think there's loads of like the water's gone in at some point, and the whole chassis sort of like sunk down slightly. But it still works and it's fine, you know. But do I get lonely? No. Like I like my alone time. I think it's very critical for me. The type of person that I am, I have to reset my energy and know who I am, you know, because I'm very affected by everybody else's energies.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have this little retreat on my own, you know. But no, I don't get lonely. I
What's
like
your,
my own.
what's your star sign, Sam?
My star sign, I'm Aries. Yeah.
March or April?
Say that again, sorry.
March or April?
Yeah, March 30th. Yeah, March 30th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah. You say something?
I was going to say, I'm going to say human design as well. I don't know if you're familiar with human design or whatever else, but I'm also a reflector in human design, which is a very small percentage of the population. And that allows me, basically none of my energetic centers are connected. So I'm very open to energies and things, you know, and it's like I can tell when things aren't right or when they need to be shifted around slightly. So it's very crucial that I sleep within my own energetic field. So I'm literally resetting every night, you know, and I also have a grounding mat, you know, that I have my foot on all the time. So I'm constantly connected to Mother Earth, basically.
Wow.
Very important.
Amazing. Next question is, what makes you the saddest?
What makes me the saddest? Saddest. Probably how much how little control certain people have over how they're feeling and things. You know, it's like I have a real empathy for people, and sometimes I can take on that quite heavily. You know, and that sort of affects me deeply, or it has affected me deeply. But you learn how to let go of that and surrender to that as well. But yeah, that makes me sad. You know, that people are maybe being I don't know, controlled to a certain point. Do you know what I mean? And that I don't like, because I have a tendency to see through the facade of who they're pretending to be, and see the true them beneath it. But sometimes it's a little sad because I realise that they're locked in that fear place, and I would like them to be in that love place. But again, through doing what I'm doing all I can to really sort of like accentuate that and bring that out of people. So, you know, the sadness, as far as it goes, it does make me cry from time to time, you know, but I think that's a healthy release as well, you know, and it's not a bad thing to be sad about either, because it shows that you have compassion and you care, you know. Yeah, that.
Actually, I think that crying, it's a big sign of being strong. You know what I mean? Totally. When you are able to cry and just to put it out, you know, like men, we have this tendency of closing things, feelings and emotions. But actually, when you release everything crying or showing your emotions, is a big sign of being strong. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Because you're not bottling anything up. You're releasing it straight away, rather than, oh, we'll just push that down there and no, people, I'm a man, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, that's the false version of a man that we've been told. But actually, the real men, they cry a lot, you know. Picking myself up there, but I cry a lot, you know. It's like, and it's a really healthy thing because I'm not keeping all that stuff bottled up inside of me, you know. But it's a gift that I wish more people, and I guess through doing the work that I'm doing, showing that vulnerable side of yourself, it then allows and makes other people vulnerable, you know. And that is strength, man. It's strength. It really is, like you say.
Absolutely. As I said at the beginning of the show, when I was mentioning about your videos, I think when people watch that and they just feel like, oh my God, I'm not alone out there. There are people, a man as well, like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's so in a way, it's inspiring to see someone doing that because you feel like you can show your emotions as well, and you can also, cry or be
Yeah.
vulnerable, and it's a health thing. It's a good thing to do for sure.
Yeah, I really agree, William. It is, and I wish more men would cry, but there's quite a lot of men around me at the moment who can't, so like, I just can't cry,
Yeah,
but it's like you can, and
yeah.
I'm sure when you do, you won't be able to stop, and it's like that's a really good thing, it's like that's the thing with everybody, it's just like all of these things that people are trying to hide or say that they don't do. Oh, I'm this, that, and the other. And more often when people say, it's like I'm really strong and I'm this, that, and it's usually the opposite is true. If you're speaking it out, you're trying to validate it to yourself when actually the real strength comes from you just weeping, so,
And
amongst other releasing of emotions as well. Yeah.
totally. And I strongly believe as well nowadays, men, they're more open about it. And again, I think it's because people like you, doing those videos, showing emotions, showing the way that, that we meant to be and, express ourselves is encouraging people to, to be more open about it. And I think nowadays, I think men, we still have the thing, but again, we are more, um, like educated about it. We are more kind of, okay, I can cry.
Yeah.
Something it's not bad if it's something. So I think we are more understanding now. That's I believe.
Yeah, we're becoming a lot more open, aren't we? It's like as we evolve and grow, we realize that these things are critical, and it's not something that should be ashamed of or whatever, because it is. From a lot of the people who I speak to have had very controlling childhoods and things, and I think through that they've learned to bottle everything, and it doesn't work. You've got to let the cap off that, and then let it flow, and just it is in the example of that, then it allows other people to be strong as well. Yeah, very true.
3 questions left. Let's do it. Next question for you is, if you met someone sad in the street, what would be your advice or your approach to this person?
First of all, I would ask them if they're okay, you
Mhm.
know. And people have done this before. People just come sit next to me in park benches or whatever, and it just seems that they'll release, they'll just start telling me about their life and everything. And I've had people cry with me before, and it's just like, but just being that space to allow them to speak whatever, because a lot of the time people aren't heard and they're fearful of being really heard and seen by people. So just
Yeah.
sitting there and listening, a lot of the calls I do, like literally some of the times I don't really have to say a lot. It's just people want to voice and be heard and be understood and not judged either. That's the thing I really, really sort of like do, is just like whatever anybody's going through, I know that everybody on the inside is made of love, and it's like that acceptance of that and that non-judgment. It doesn't matter what they've done in their lifetime, regardless of how cruel they think it is or shameful they think it is. If you just allow them to speak it and go like, yeah, it's okay, we all do, we all make mistakes, if there are any mistakes. I don't believe there are. It's just that learning process of accepting ourselves, but just to be with them and say, are you all right? What's wrong? Is it okay? It's okay to feel these things. Don't worry. It's like, I'm not a person who's going to judge you for anything. So literally be a complete open book. Don't hide anything from me. It's like you're allowed to speak whatever it is. Yeah.
And and we have no idea how those little approach can give a big impact in people's lives sometimes, most of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Massive, isn't it? Huge. There's the kindest little gestures. I mean, for example, like Andy, who I live with, he's such a fantastic person. He really is. And I know he's going through it hard. He's going through a hard lot of lessons, and he's taking it all on at once. And just, I was in town the other day, and I just got this thing. It was just like, right, I've just got to go. I just went and bought him a crystal, a blue crystal to give him power and things, and a stick of Palo Santo and one of these big church candles, and it's just like that little gesture. And I wrote him a little note saying like, don't let these people get you down, mate. Like, you're doing so well, and it was just like, I love you, mate. And that was it, Sam. It's like, burn this, burn that, and just sit with that. And this crystal's for your power. And he came
Wow.
in the other day, and he didn't have to say anything. He just broke down immediately and was just like, "Shit, man, like, thank you." And I cried with him
Wow.
as well. And it was just like
Wow.
these little gestures that you think aren't anything, they mean the world to somebody else. They
Yes.
really do, And it's just like, if more people did that, instead of judging people or seeing the sort of seeing the facade of what's occurring, whether it be they're angry or they're stressed or whatever, if you see beyond that and you see the real them, and it's just people are hurting inside, if you see them hurting, then you treat everybody with compassion. And that makes a heck of a difference. Supermarket, whatever, ask people what they love to do.
Yeah.
You see them light up rather than just like, "You're all right, yeah, beep, 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 beep. I'm sat here all day, every day." It's just like, be intrigued by people and they'll be intrigued back. And yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the healing. Little lifts all around the place make a heck of a difference. That's how we change the world. It's not changing the systems or any of that sort of stuff. It's just literally lifting people up when you can.
Totally believe as well.
Yeah.
2 questions left, son. Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, I'm going to ask a tough question to you. As you shared in the beginning of the interview about your, let's say, very challenged, dark moments that you had a few years ago that it changed your life. My question to you is 2 questions in one. The first part of the question is, do you think this situation meant to happen to you, like knowing the place where you are right now? Do you think that meant to happen? And the second part of the question is, if you have the superpower of erasing that moment in your life, would you do that, or would you keep it knowing the person you are right now?
Okay, first part of the question. From my understanding, I wrote that into my life so that I could now be where I am now. Only through the suffering can we really understand how to help other people through it. It's all very well and good having book smarts and things, but if you're just reading stuff out of a book, you haven't gone through it, so you don't have that information there, or how to deal with it. You haven't experienced it. And obviously, if I could change it, no, not at all. I would wish more. It sounds really bad, but like, I would wish more suffering on people so that they could then realize that and go through that, And it's just like, sounds a bit bad that from a sort of 3D perspective, but in reality, like, the biggest sufferings in your life, they make you who you are. They're the only thing that can really rip you and pull you out of your mentality or the character that you were pretending to be. So no, not a chance would I change any of it. Yeah.
I heard once that all of us, we're gonna fall on the floor at one point. You know what I mean? For some reason or another, we're gonna fall. But the big challenge is how we're gonna pick yourself up, how we're gonna get yourself out of there. I think we focus so much sometimes in the fall, and we forget sometimes, okay, how am I gonna pick myself up of that, moment? And I know it's not easy. I'm talking now, but I know it's not easy sometimes, depending on circumstances. Can be really difficult for us to to stand up again or start a healing process or start a new journey. But I think that's when the biggest challenge is there. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to learn of that? How are you going to take the message? How are you going to change things? How I think that's the biggest challenge that we face at the time when it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't. Yeah, like when I was in it, it was so dark, William. It really was, and it was just like, but all the way through it, I knew that it was different from any other depression that I'd been in or whatever, and it was just like, this feels different. I know that my soul is activated now, and I'm in connection with it, albeit you feel so disconnected with it at the time. But you can only stay in that place of suffering for so long before you finally surrender to it, and then you're able to really look at it deeply, and then from then you create change.
Next question for you is, what do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
The best, compassion, love for themselves first and foremost, and empathy. Love, compassion, and empathy, definitely. Like, I've seen it change lives around me recently in ways that, if I'd taken offense to what people were saying, or if I'd not shown him love, or if I'd not shown myself love and set boundaries and things like that, like it would have just got worse and worse and worse. You know, fire plus fire equals more flames. Oh shit, we've burnt the, sorry for swearing. Oh no, we've burnt the forest down. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. You know, but everybody always then there's always one person left with one eye. No, that's silly, but you know, it's like it's like and humor as well. That's what it was there to remind me of. Got to be humorous, you know. It's just like as I go along this journey, like the less serious I take it all, the happier I am, and the more joy can come out of myself. Because over the last few years, I feel as though my humor, I'd almost been like cancelled out of being funny, or I find dark things quite funny. You know, I have a very mixed, very different sense of humor to a lot of people. But I think in the humor, that is the thing that will, when the world is falling apart or your world is falling apart or whatever, if you can bring humor to it and laugh at yourself, that's such an important quality. It really is, you know. But yeah, I'd say that.
I agree, and the pain is a bit less as well, because you are taking it in a very funny way. Somehow it warms your heart a little bit.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think that's how people in the trenches got through it all, you know. It's just like, you know, if everything was serious and they really focused on what it was that was really scary and stuff. And it's like a call I did with a guy today. You know, you know, I made him laugh at the end, and I could see that just that little switch made the difference in it, you know. And it was just like, yeah, that's what he had to do. He needs to stop taking it all so seriously and doing all this, and just go like, I forgot to laugh about it all, isn't it? You know, and it's like that's the thing that carries people through real hard times, you know. So the best people, the people who sort of like managed to make it through, you know, Auschwitz or concentration camps or whatever, they were the guy who was just joking and laughing and going about it. And it's so hard to do that. But again, it's all perspective, you know. And this guy must have been like some enlightened master or whatever to be able to laugh in that situation. But what a gift it is, you know, when you can do that.
Now imagine this person that you made laugh today. Imagine the release of the tension that you made him feel after this little small that he had at the time.
Yeah,
Laugh.
exactly. That's it. Tiny little integrative steps up the frequency ladder. That's it. Yeah.
Ready for the last one, Sam?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Last question. Let's do it. Before the last question, you know, being a coach, you deal with a lot of energy. Yeah, you give away energy. You take energy from people as well. Sometimes negative, sometimes positive, sometimes challenging. Tell me, through your career, since you started this journey, a moment or a situation with a client or anyone that you go like, you know what, that moment I'll never forget. That for some reason touched your heart and always going to have a special place in your memory or in your heart.
Yeah, there was one lady who, yeah, there was one lady, and she's amazing. You know, she really is. And I sat with her, you know, and it ran over. Like we were on the phone, we were on video call for about 5.5 hours, to be honest. And there was one moment there, and because I had nothing else to do, and it was just really nice. I was just like, look, I'm doing nothing else. Let's just share this time together. You know, might as well. And after about hour 4 or something like amazing happened, and it showed me a little bit of what I'm really, really capable of doing for people. Is just nothing untoward was said or anything, and then all of a sudden it was just like this massive energetic connection with our hearts. Like I felt my heart begin to open, and it was just like this transmutation of energy, and it just, I didn't know what was happening, you know. And it was just like it showed me something else, and we both sat there and just breathed and went into this deep meditative state. And from that, it was just like this amazing transaction happened between us, and I'll never forget it. And I came round after it, and I was just like, it healed parts of me, it healed her. You know, she woke up the next day and said, like, that pain that I had, it's gone, it's moved. And like, you know, we keep in contact now, and she said, like, you know, I'm now able to like go for runs in the park, and I'm not reliant on my addictions as much. And that whatever that was, and I can't describe it, William, it was just this energetic exchange that felt so beautiful. And that really made me go, like, when I put the phone down, I was like, whoa, what actually just occurred there? And it was a quantum exchange of something, you know. But that's what in readings and stuff they said I'm able to do, but feeling it was just the most beautiful experience ever. And then seeing the change, you know, and just being able to speak through it afterwards as well, and just, yeah, that was incredible. I'll never forget that. Never forget that.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Thank you.
So,
Okay, last question for you is, what is your most embarrassing moment?
most embarrassing moment. Right, when I was younger, we went to our friends of the family's house, and they had this little plastic gem that was in a drawer, right? I was spoken about this, and I was maybe about 9 or 10 or something like that. And I just really wanted it, you know, and I was just like, I was being cheeky, so I like pinched it out of the drawer. And for some reason, I went into the kitchen, and, like, had it in my hands, and I was just like, I just went, oh, like this, and it dropped out of my
Oh,
hands onto the floor, and like I just went like, oh no. And like
oh
I
my,
just grabbed it quickly and ran out, you know, and I was so ashamed. I was so like embarrassed by it and things. And I had to write a letter saying, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to try and steal this. They probably didn't care, do you know what I mean? But as a kid, you're like, this is the worst thing ever to happen, you know? And it was just that thing. When you said that, that was the first thing that came to mind anyway. But yeah, it was just that interaction, you know, and just feeling so, oh shit, I should have just asked, you know. They'd probably been like, yeah, take it. But it's the fact that I was trying to steal it because I wanted it, you know. Now I've got all these crystals here, and it's just like, now I understand why, because I like crystals and stuff. But yeah, there you go.
all right, very good. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? Let's start with family.
Love.
Money.
Value.
One word for life.
Experience.
Love.
Unconditional.
Sex.
Passion.
Politics.
Bollocks.
Religion.
Religion. Control. Yeah.
Okay. Fear.
Yeah. Transmutation.
Interesting. Friendship.
Yeah, connection.
Desire.
Beauty.
Okay. Regret.
Judgment, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Success.
Abundance. Yeah.
Wish.
Star.
Okay. Yeah. One word for happiness.
Just joy. Yeah.
One word for England.
England. Beautiful.
One word for Scotland.
Scotland. Pineal.
One word for meditation.
Peace.
One word for coach.
Guidance.
And the last one now, medicine man. One word.
Medicine man. Remedy.
I like that, remedy. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Sam, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What your best friend would say?
He would say, the best thing about Sam is he's a rock for me. Yeah. Not to sound too grandiose or anything, but he said it before, you know. He describes me like a tree, a rooted tree that he can lean on and depend on. One thing that he would say is thinking, Sam beats himself up more than he should.
If I would ask the same question to your lovely sister, yeah, Nicola, should say the same answer?
Yeah, she would say that I have such a big heart, and sometimes I can't process that amount of love. Yeah, sometimes I find it hard, you know. Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's play now Sam and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay.
You are a good dancer, I can see.
Yeah, I really enjoy dancing. I really enjoy dancing, William.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you ask me the question, actually, tell me what's the best part of being a dad?
What's the best part of being a dad? Just seeing Jessie grow, like, yeah,
Oh,
and see her evolve and see how present she is, and just the teachings and the lessons and the patience that she yeah, like, gives to me is just fantastic. Yeah,
wow.
it's the best thing about it, you know. And just
Amazing.
doing loads of different things that you know, when I was a kid I could do, you know, my dad did with me. That's the best thing about that. Yeah. And
Wow.
going for bike rides and just going to the park or going to a trampoline park or going swimming. I love going swimming with her. I think it's fantastic. And just seeing her grow and evolve and just like progress is fantastic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, William. Right. I didn't actually have anything prepared. Oh, what would be your favorite tree and why?
Good question, actually. Good question. And when you said about tree, it brought me straight away to my childhood back in Brazil.
Oh,
You
really?
know, there is okay. I always been connected with nature as well. When you say about, you know, the trees that you know, have a trees around you, that you have
Mhm.
your van there, you feel protected. Actually, growing up, I was fortunate as well to grow up literally with nature. You know, I was climbing trees. I was literally resting there. Sometimes I was feeling their energy. Sometimes I was talking to them as well. For me, they
Yeah,
had life. For me, they were alive. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
they
have
are. That's it.
goosebumps now saying that because
Yeah,
I remember at the time I felt so, you know, I felt protected. I knew I was there. And I remember sometimes when I was alone, like around the trees, and for some reason the wind was blowing them out all around, I felt like I was talk to them. They were trying to give me a message or something. So I've always been connected as well. Okay, but there is a tree back in Brazil that I don't remember the name now of, but is the tree where they make the rubber, yeah,
hmm,
where they so actually the place, the city where I was born is a very small city back in Brazil, and it's well known tree for that tree because they work literally cut. It's like they cut around the tree and start kind of sinking this liquid, white liquid, where they make the rubber, yeah,
yeah,
where they
yeah.
make.
Hmm.
So it's fascinating. I love the question because at the same time I was sad to see that happening because I could see they were hurting the tree, but at the same time I was proud as well because the whole city was well known because of the tree. So
Uh-huh.
it's like I was somehow proud for those trees to be there because they were literally somehow, you know, leaving the you know the city because it was so small, a small city in, you
Hmm.
know, a whole Brazil. They knew about the city because of this tree. So somehow the
Hmm.
tree was expanding our city, the name, or making famous because it was a very small town. But yeah, I mean, I can picture now. I'm talking to you. I can picture the trees in front of me. It was like
Hmm.
they were literally well known for that. And so yeah, I don't remember the name of the tree, but it was my favorite tree for the fact that I was sad as well in a way to see them, you know, somehow producing that. But at the same time as well, I felt very proud to know that those trees were bringing some popularity for the city where I was born. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a good question. I like the question actually. I haven't been
they're
asked this
good.
question.
It was the first one that came to my mind actually, and then I was like, no, I'll change that. And then I've literally just looked down there and I've got my remarkable trees book, and I was just like, no, that's what I'd like to know, you know, about you, is just because it's really
Uh,
important to me too, you know, that connection with nature, especially trees. I've
mhm.
had that I've had that sort of that experience with trees where I've been barefooted and I put my hands on trees and they've spoken to me. You know, they
Yeah.
have literally spoken to me and they've given me all this advice and stuff, and healed certain parts and taken energy from me. You know, and it's just like that grounding of that is just absolutely superb, very important. You know.
Look, one day when I go to my hometown, I'll take you with me, and you're gonna come back to England like with thousands of trees, different trees that you never heard in your life. That's gonna bring a lot of. I have no idea how many trees we have back there that I think people never heard of it. And there are some of them, they produce those tropical fruits that we don't have here, never seen here before. And they're so different, you know, so they're very different, unique, that you cannot find anywhere. You know, tropical countries, you can find those trees easily, not just in Brazil, but other countries as well. You can find those unique trees that you don't see everywhere. And sometimes people even don't talk about, you know, because they're not.
They're not known, are they? That's it. I walk around the parks and like certain ones I'll be like, oh, I don't know what this is, you know. And it's like I have certain trees like the ginkgo biloba, like that's a really important tree for me because it's very ancient. It's probably one of the oldest trees there was, you know. It's like, and it's just a very good healing tree as well, you know. You can sort of like grind the leaves up and things, and it's very good for herbal reasons as well. But just something about the tree, because it's so old, that just fascinates me, you know. But I love trees, love plants of all sorts. Like, that's it.
There is a very famous tree as well in the north of Brazil, very far away where I come from. That I visited once as well. When I was already living in Europe, and I went to holidays in Brazil in the north, and I was traveling with a friend of mine, and we visit this very famous tree. It's the biggest, it's the largest tree in the world, I think. That's it's like when you look at it, it looks like a forest, but there's just one. How they call the
trunk?
The trunk is literally just one, and it goes everywhere. So when you are close there, you cannot imagine how fascinating it is. It's just one tree, but it covers like a massive area. It's like it's like I'm gonna Google as well. I'm gonna send it to you. You can it's very well known. People go there to visit because of that tree. It's a very centenary tree. It's a very old tree that's well known for that. Like it's been growing around, so it keeps like a long, big space, and they have just one tree. Yeah, it's amazing. And you can somehow climb it, so you can see from the top, and you can see how big it is, like how amazing it grows, you know. I'll send to you as well. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, thank you, William. That'd be great. And like that remarkable trees book that I have, you know, I'm going to start in the UK, I think, and I'm just going to go around and visit all these really ancient trees. You know, there's massive ashes with these huge buttresses and things, and just massive oaks and things, and just sit with them and just try and learn stuff from them, you know, and just be with them, meditate under them, and just that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, thank you for giving me that inspiration to do that. That's it.
I'll enjoy the interview, Sam.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, you're very good at what you do. You're very good at what you do. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time, and also thank you for your videos on TikTok. Keep going, because you have no idea how much you are, you know, helping people, and people connect with you. I'm sure you know that, because when you do something with passion, with love, people they recognize, they see that. So I'm glad we connect. Thanks so much for taking the time, and carry on, because, you know, I think it's amazing. And before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Positive message would be, everybody out there, just be more compassionate, you know, be more compassionate to everybody who's going through a hard time and stuff, because I know that it doesn't matter what the question is, love is the answer always, you know, for yourself and for everybody else as well, you know. It breaks down so many barriers, you know. When somebody can feel safe and secure with you, and no judgment, that's very important. No judgment to anybody, you know, because a lot of people, they don't have control over their ill feelings or ill self-worth or whatever it is. If you can show them love, you break down that barrier instantly, and they feel comfortable with you. So more compassion. More compassion.
Okay. Keep in touch. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure. Regards to your family and your friends. Okay.
Yeah, ditto. Same to you as well, William. Thank you very much. You have such a beautiful energy, you really do, and it's what the world needs right now. So yeah, you keep going with what you're doing as well, mate. Your smile will always create abundance, that's for sure.
Oh, thanks. I'm shy now. I'm getting blush now.
Yeah, don't be. That's it. Smile more. That's it.
Take care. Good night. Keep in touch.
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you very much. All right. Cheers now.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. and I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.